I was trying to think of a way to sing, but I didn't I didn't use the minutes leading up to this podcast the way I expected to. So we don't have an opening song for you, but welcome to Space Cats Happy Hour. It's not morning for us, but still a morning space chat.
Yeah.
Um,
Morning
on,
is a vibe, not a time.
exactly. Zadikat, Sun Portal, with me as always is
Dread Pirate KK.
Huzzah. It's
Huzzah.
It's November 1st, so a nice 111 portal that we're recording this on. And something just jumped out of my head, so that's cool. But we have some updates and some bits and bobs. And then apparently, this is the episode where we're supposed to talk about situation in the Middle East, but don't worry, it's not going to be like really like getting into the nitty gritty of anything or that. It's going to be a very like zoomed out kind of meta chat, and it'll be fun, I promise.
Obviously, we are so much fun.
um, First update. If you watched the last episode on video, which I had the pleasure of recording, no, I was not on coke. I know I regularly touch my face a lot, and that's because I practice autism. So
It's autism.
yeah, I know. I was like, I don't, I don't like to say like I am things to like try to avoid like creating identity around things. And then I was like, what can I say? And I was like,
I practice.
I was like, that's a goofy way to put it.
I like it.
Um,
I like it.
so I touch my face a lot normally. I notice I do like this a lot, which looks like I'm like in the throes of despair, like about 7 to 10 times per episode. And that's just me. I think it's just me like moving energy through my body or something, just getting the GBs out. But last episode, I didn't realize I had a really gnarly nose infection coming on. So it's just making my
Oh
nose
no.
crazy itchy. But I'm like, I was like talking really fast. I even was talking about
Were you?
how I was talking fast
Oh, I remember that.
because of I don't know, for whatever reason I was feeling speedy, maybe because I had upped my antidepressant dose, or maybe it was just a bit of a speedy day for me. But and then I'm like also like sniffing and like rubbing my nose like every 3 seconds. I was like, Jesus.
I did not notice that. I don't know. What does that say about me? I don't know. But I'm like, okay, sure.
But yeah, no judgment to Coke, but like I can't even take caffeine. So I'm not putting any stimulants in this body.
Yeah.
Um, I'll tell you if I start, because that will be a real body shift for me.
Mhm.
So that's important update number one. Number two is from a while ago. If you were listening to the podcast where I talked about wanting gloves that are heated, and you were like, "Yeah, those already exist." Yeah, I looked it up afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, those already exist."
They
Afterwards, I
do.
was like, "Wait a sec, what are the chances that these don't exist?" And it's like, yeah, they've already created such a
Nice.
genius invention, so that's nice.
Let's get a link in the show notes. I want to buy. No.
I will try to find again because I actually went on Amazon, thought I bought some for a
Oh,
very reasonable price, and then it turned out they weren't actually, because I got like zoned out and overwhelmed by all, you see
mm,
like 50 listings at a time and my brain can't handle it.
I
So I
can't.
guess what I ended up settling on was something I thought was heated and it wasn't. So I just returned those. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back and like check it out again. But yeah, if I can find them, I'll put a link. And then the other update had to do with Three Eye Atlas,
Mm,
because I was seeing more about what makes it so unique, um, and not comedy. Like it's what it's they've been able to like see what it's off gassing, which shows that it's composed like almost entirely of nickel instead of, I can't remember now what the mineral is. Is it iron? It's something that's more typical for, it's like completely weird and bizarre and not normal. But the thing about the Fibonacci sequence is not officially verified. And this is, it's kind of weird to do these updates because it's like,
Yeah.
where are we getting our
Yeah.
sources? But anyway, that wasn't like released by any of the official astronomy channels, the thing about the Fibonacci sequence, although things about it emitting light have been
Okay.
released. And like there's lots of things that have been released about it that point to it. What they're calling a very like an extremely abnormal if it were a comet, it would be an extremely unlikely abnormal comet. But seems like not a comet. A lot of things that point to it not being a comet. Anyway, but just wanted to put those three things out there. Oh, and then another thing that's cool. So we were talking about now we suddenly have a second moon.
Yeah.
But and like yeah, in our last episode we were getting into like, is that why time's getting weird? Is that like contributing to time weirdness and stuff? And the fact that time is kind of moving out of sync with the seasons right now, like the energies.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get National Geographic promotion emails all the time. They always have little nuggets, and it was like there's been this huge team of scientists that are like global scientists, but they're working out of France, and they've been working for like years now to build a second sun on Earth using nuclear fusion. And um like they've made all these advancements with it, and the purpose is that it could like resolve all of our energy problems. But
Whoa.
yeah, anyway, that's just like I was like, okay, so now we have two
Two
moons
sons.
and like
What?
two suns. Also, it's very, I'm like, it's it's trippy to me that it's like we can't just harness the power of the existing sun, like we have to build our own. But I didn't get into the nitty gritty of the details on that. um
Weird.
because I get the National Geographic email, and then it's like usually behind a pay. I just get like the headlines, and then it's behind
Yeah.
the paywall. But
Yeah.
yeah, so two moons, two suns. Why the hell not?
Actually, if you want to read National Geographic, you could I have the at the library, there's a Libby app. I don't know if it exists in Canada, but like
Oh,
you can get all Smithsonian, National, all kinds of magazines. And I only know that
cool.
because I signed up for it. Because, like, again, when you get the emails and you get the nuggets, I'm like, well, I probably won't read the magazine, but like, I'll get and then I just never even read the headlines.
Yeah.
But it is available for free at your local library.
But that's a very cool thing to just know. That's
Yeah.
great. Yay, libraries. They're so cool.
Uh, except for when they fire you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
riddance. Good riddance.
um,
Actually,
oh,
I don't know if I've told that. Have I told that story on the podcast? How I got
no,
fired? Okay,
you
I
should.
don't need to tell the story. I just mean I was fired from the library. Anyway, continue. That's why that was a random nugget.
um, I actually forgot I have another update,
Yes, tell us.
which is really nice, which is following up on that letter that I wrote to the Canadian government. I wrote a
That's
letter.
funny.
My intuition gave me like it was like, you got to write this letter, just writing out what you want them to do. And I felt super kooky and cringy about it, and I tried to leave the least amount of information possible, like, but I put my address on the return envelope, so I did get a letter back from them. But anyway, and I phrased things very broadly. Um, and I was just like, what would I want to happen? Anyway, one of the things where it had to do with like funding things generously, and I kept saying I want you to fund generously and wisely these types of initiatives and like move funding towards. And I really wasn't expecting. I kind of also forgot what I wrote, which is the best, just let it go. But then this friend and former colleague of mine who's very active on the social justice front and stuff and in the nonprofit scene was just posted earlier this week like, oh, this Canada just released all this funding for all of these like feminist led initiatives, queer and trans led initiatives, and like other things of that nature. So I was like, whoa,
Hell yeah,
fast
baby.
turnaround. That's
They're
great.
doing they're doing your bidding.
Yeah. And it was interesting because the way she phrased it was like, oh, we can breathe. Like at last we can breathe again. And I was like,
Oh,
sweet.
that's nice.
So, you know, yeah,
Getting
that
stuff
one was, yeah, that was, that was a cool one. I was like,
done.
all right, fucking A, right.
Fucking A.
Um, the words, I was also just talking to my partner Mike the other day because he has an old band hoodie of the band Dead on Arrival. It's a punk band. And it has an image on it and it says death to the multinationals. Um, and I was like, that's really good, energetic. It's really strong, energetic phrasing because you're working with the natural death cycle of
Yeah.
something that already is like making itself so cartoonish and like clearly wants to complete its cycle and die. So
Oh my God, I know.
death to, and it's also talking about the structure and the system. Very, very good,
Hell yeah, bring it
energetic
in, baby.
work. Death to things as opposed to um like no, I'm not thinking of a good alternative that's like a good example of like less strong wording, but
More like fighting, you mean? Or just
yeah, like
because that energy never really.
yeah, it's like or like say no to this or you know what I mean, like that
Yeah,
kind of where say no is fine, but like there's a lot of stuff where it's like yeah, like resist
yeah.
this,
That's
resist or stuff like that. Like death too is just very, very potent, and it's not that you have to modify your language, but like why not use that boost of potency to your advantage? It's like
yeah, absolutely. Words
yeah.
matter.
So those are my updates. Do you have any updates on your end?
Well, the farmer harvested the corn today, which feels pretty interesting. Well, he farms everywhere, but my particular field he harvested today. And I missed it because I was helping my friend Amber get ready for her masquerade ball, which was fun. I don't, I'm glad that I got to help her, but also I'm like, oh, but I didn't get to see the corn go in. That's all right. But it was cool. And it just feels pretty like the harvest is in, baby. I don't know. No more work to do. Just wintertime ready. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have. Mm, no, just kind. Oh, I did take a carload of stuff to the pirate ship today to kind of start moving some stuff in there. And Lee and I have put plastic on all the windows upstairs because I'm gonna block off the upstairs because it's not livable, but like I just need less cold air in the house in general. And I wasn't expecting I didn't have plastic on the windows when I was living there before. And he's like devastated that I'm moving in there. So he's like, we're gonna we're gonna do everything we can do to get it to be like so he's kind of doing it. He's not doing it for him, he's doing it for me, but also he feels like, oh my God, I can't let my friend live here in this house. So we and there are 13 windows upstairs and they are large. I thought his poor shoulder, he's already kind of fucked up his shoulder and he was like doing the electric drill thing. And I thought, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna make it,
Oh
but
man.
he did it. So we got plastic on the windows. And then one of the entrances to the upstairs, like boarded up with like insulation panels, so it'll keep in more of the heat and stuff, and not because when I lived there last time, I lived in a bedroom that got no heat because like basically the living room and then it's like a staircase and then it was my bedroom. And so I never, it was like the heat all went all upstairs. So we blocked off that entrance. And so I will be sleeping in a much warmer room, not the room I slept in last time. I'm moving to the sunroom. So
Pirate Ship 2.0.
Pirate Ship 2.0, baby. Yeah. So not too many exciting updates. I've just been kind of chilling here and doing my little packing or doing I don't know, whatever. The days are passing so fast that I'm just like I don't even know I
Yeah.
don't even know what day it is. I don't even know like what I did last time or what's going on. But those are the things I can think of anyway. So getting homey, moving my energy from this place to the other place and see how it goes.
I've been getting a ton of pirate things.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so weird. My mom just told me she was blowing up pirates in oh, sorry, she had a stroke back in December, and so one of her rehab things apparently this time, and she just did it a couple days ago. There's some bionic arm that like helps you get the grip strength back in your arm and your hands. And so what they're doing is, probably because it's all, run by younger generations now, where it's like, oh, let's play video games and like, squeeze this to blow up this pirate or save this monster. And she literally said that she was like, I was saving the monsters from whatever like the blowing things up or blah blah blah, and she was like then I would blow up pirates and ghosts or I don't know whatever. I was like, and she has never played a video game in her life. It was so anyway, that was I didn't mean to hijack your story, but yes, pirates are everywhere.
No, all it was just literally to say like I'm feeling the pirate ship energy like everywhere. It's yeah, pirates, pirates, pirates. So
Coming back on, baby.
she's calling you.
He is. I'll be there.
Um, I has this is not an update. This is just a bits and bob, but something that I had a conversation with my friend Rebecca once, where she was really connected to the 17th century,
Mm.
and or God damn it, I don't know if it was the 17th century or the 1700s, but either the
What?
1600s or 1700s, but whichever one of them, where people had their hairlines really high and those super tall wigs, like the aristocracy.
Mhm.
And she thought that they were trying to make themselves look like um, the specific, was it the Anunnaki or I forget, but it's like also
Oh,
had like really, it was like galactic
like
race
the
that had really,
Egyptians too.
yeah,
Yeah.
like really elongated like heads and stuff.
Were they
Be-
Series B or Series, I don't know, something, were they from? It doesn't really matter, but
I don't, I don't
or
know what
was it the
Series B
Anunnaki?
is.
Okay.
I'm
There's
not sure if it was the, it was like, but it
I
was a
know what you
galactic
mean. Yeah.
race that looked,
Yeah.
that had a really, like the cone heads too. It was
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
referencing that. And that they were just trying to like look like themselves. And I was like, oh, that's why, because celebrity or just very wealthy person plastic surgery is so extreme right now. Um, and like the cheekbones, everybody's getting these
Yeah.
like, and like this part of the head is just getting. Anyway, I was like, oh shit, they're making themselves look like the Greys, like the classic gray aliens.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
people also were talking about certain celebrities who'd gotten really kind of more extreme plastic surgery, and then it looked like they looked dead behind the eyes after. And then
Oh.
I was like, oh, I wonder if it's like walk-in stuff happening with like,
Oh.
which I don't know if we've ever really talked about walk-in.
No, I don't think so.
But it was never, walk-in stuff was never really like in my lane of like my soul journey
Yeah.
and stuff. But that I know a lot of, once when I was back in the um group, Facebook group of people who listen to Jessa Reed's podcast, who are extremely like Galactic Federation, Orion Wars,
Mhm.
um, refugees is the word that wanted to
Yeah.
come in, or like survivors of that.
Mhm.
There were a number of people who felt like they were walk-ins,
Yeah, I remember
um,
that. Yeah.
and meaning that a different version, a different soul had left their body, and they were now in their body, and they weren't the same as that
Mhm.
version before. But it's also been used to describe like some other being coming in, when a soul will leave a body, and then something, not necessarily another human soul or whatever, are we human, but like something very distinctly or like entirely
Yeah.
ET will come in. So anyway, that just struck me as very interesting, because I was like, what is going on with this plastic surgery? I was
Yeah.
like I'm like, it's like the opposite of the quiet luxury trend,
Yeah.
or like the very waspy
Mhm.
trend of like signifying your wealth with like discreet, luxurious minimalism.
Yeah.
I was like, these people are like doing plastic surgery that's like so obvious and would have been considered like a real botch job not so long ago. And I
Interesting.
and somebody was saying, someone, I think it was like a plastic surgeon or somebody on TikTok, was saying that like celebrities are actually asking for plastic surgery that's looks like, that's the new thing, is to ask for something that, so that it's like noticeably plastic surgery, like they want to like set themselves apart. And
Interesting.
I was like, this is some,
So that, yeah,
this is some alien shit, man. This is where we're trying to look like the
ready for
Greys.
it. Oh man, that's pretty wild. I don't
The
think
other,
I've
mm?
seen. I'm sorry. I'm going to Google real. I was like, I haven't seen recent plastics.
Okay, Google Bradley Cooper,
Oh, really?
of what he used to look like and his most recent plastic surgery. And he was the example, the main example they were giving for like the dead behind the eyes. I'm not saying anything one way or
Oh,
the other. I'm just, I
oh,
thought it was interesting that,
dang.
I thought it was interesting, the idea of like making ourselves look more and more like alien like.
So different. I'm like, bro, like, whoa. Okay. That's a good example.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks different as hell.
So different. I didn't
And
even
like
recognize
the
him.
cheekbones, right? Like cheeks. It's like, but you make your cheeks like puffier and puffier
Yeah.
and puffier. Um,
So weird.
and people are making themselves look more alien in all sorts of ways, which is really cool.
Mhm.
But I just hadn't put that together for this particular trend, because it's
Fascinating.
so gray, like, right? Like it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's like, um, that also made me remember in other things with like random facial shape shifts and trends that seem very like energies coming in. I remember when I moved from Montreal to Toronto, and then it was around 2014, 15, when I joined this editorial team at this journal, and all the women who worked there were like maybe like 5 or 6 years younger than me, but they all had the same type of, well, all, but like 90% had the same type of face, which I had not seen before, and definitely not uh, in Quebec. And at first I attributed it to like a Quebec, Ontario thing, but it was this very like full round, like cherubic
Hmm.
face. And then that started to be everywhere. And it's like now that's what you see. It's like the Hadids, right? Like that's the, and it's like, and if I'd seen it first in TV, I would say, oh, okay, well, it's just people selecting that, like people decided that, but I saw it first in people in real life. So I was like, okay, this is like, so it felt very cherubic. So it's like, I guess a cherubic
Cool.
energy wanted. And it also felt kind of maybe Mintakan or something. Something
Oh,
about like the roundness and like the fullness and stuff.
okay.
But
Interesting.
that's like everywhere now is the face. And it's like if you go back to the 90s, it was very, there were a lot of pixie, right?
Pixie.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Winona,
Mm-hmm.
Kate, Ma, etc.
Yeah.
Um,
Very weird.
so yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I love your observations. I don't
I don't know if there's been a new one.
mm,
That would be interesting to see because the cherub one is definitely still like dominating the airwaves. Do we still call it airwaves when everything's
I
internet?
do. It's fun.
Yeah.
It just feels like a phrase, but probably because of childhood. But
But is there like is there a term that's replaced airwaves?
I mean, I guess some people jokingly say the internets
The internet's right.
broadcast over the internets. Uh,
Yeah.
but it feels like it still would be airwaves. I don't know if I've heard anyone say anything different though. That's a good question.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the airwaves.
The internet
Um
is a series of tubes.
I had a dream. Was it last night? I've been having amazing dreams where I return to the same place again and again, and it's so beautiful. It's like variations on the same place, but it's always like a place where there's a beautiful, like very organic house or hotel structure that's partially indoors and partially outdoors, and the water runs through it, and it's nature. So I keep having these like type. They're so beautiful, and then I'm always like interacting with the most amazing animals. But this was not that dream. That was just a sidebar about beautiful, beautiful dreams that I'm so grateful for. They've been a real, real joy. But I had a really funny dream where um, this British show that I love, Taskmaster, that's hosted by two British comedians, Greg Davies and Alex Horn. They were helping me workshop and work on my stand-up comedy act.
Oh.
And I kept postponing the part where I actually told the jokes. And they were like, they were being really supportive and they were like, all right, like, it's okay, take your time, you know? And then Adam Sandler was there too. And he was like, just in the background, just kind of like workshopping his own new material and stuff. So he was like, well, you know, you take your time getting ready and I'll just workshop some stuff. So I was like hearing him do his act while I was like looking through my notes. I was looking through my notes, and then the one thing that I came up with on the spot that was going to be my opener was I was going to say, "All right, everybody, that was Adam Sandler with a tight three, all about papal hats," because his whole bit was just he kept talking about papal hats, like the Pope.
Oh my Lord.
If it's not coming across clearly, we're like the hats that the Pope would wear. Um, and like he was getting really into those the like nitty
Tight
gritty of the
three.
yeah. So that was my opening line that I came up with, and then I was kept trying to find like more like a like but jump off of it in the dream. I was like trying to find like something to jump off of it to like keep the ball rolling and like make more jokes on it. And when I woke up, I got stressed and I was like still trying to. I was like, I gotta find
Gotta find the right line.
Adam Sandler with his
That's
tight
amazing.
three, all about papal hats.
Oh my God. Zadikat, you have hilarious dreams.
Hmm. Speaking of being Jewish,
Ah, all right. We're so
there's my transition.
here we go.
There's my seamless transition to a
Yeah.
heck of a topic. Okay. I was like checking in. I'm like, what am I supposed to talk? And then it was like that. I'm like, oh, just
Oh,
off the cuff, eh?
right.
Um, okay, first of all, um, I the I very strongly feel that Israel is going to dissolve in some way and no longer be a state in the way that it was. And I think that is going to pave the way for, I think, in the same way, there are things that are like pillars that really uphold the matrix, aka the collective ego structure, in terms of like keeping us believing that this current external reality is fixed and there are things that like fundamentally can't be changed, and if they were, it would be too threatening and dangerous. We get really reactive. And I'm just realizing this, so I just did a whole video on TikTok about gender as one of those pillars, and um, the fact that um, we had this pillar of like, even though it was based on something that wasn't true in nature, but we had this pillar that we directed of was male, female, man, woman, binary. And the fact that somebody could literally transform from one to the other triggers this deep, deep, deep knowing and remembering that everything is fluid and transformable, and like nothing is fixed in the way that we, and that's the main reason why it causes such a huge reactive backlash type reaction in society, because it shakes up things at such a deep level and causes such an existential panic. It's like, oh shit, this can become that, like anything can become anything. It's like, yep, anything
Yeah.
can become anything. So another one of those pillars has to do with the borders and states of like statehood and borders, because borders are a form of structure. And so I'm just realizing that that is another reason why um, this particular question is so triggering to the collective ego, this particular situation, because it's like, if those types of structures and borders can be dissolved, it reverberates out to so many other things. Um, but that's what I was saying was, yeah. So that's why I think that once that happens with Israel, it's going to be a major turning point for like other borders dissolving. And we're also seeing very interesting things around borders dissolving. It's not that borders haven't changed and stuff, but this type of like,
Yeah.
something was set up and then is now just, the entire premise of it is being called into question in this way, is just like so like shaking at the matrix. um but what's interesting is the whole tariff thing between the US and Canada. Now there are indigenous tribes who are refusing to acknowledge the border between the US and Canada, and they're creating their own free trade,
Oh,
um
wow.
not alley, but
Damn.
like pathway,
Yeah.
cross-border pathway. So
Wow.
that is really interesting thing where we're already seeing other borders that are like
Yeah.
considered super fixed and immutable, you know? I know gender and borders don't fall into the same category because people are more aware that it's a construct, that they create borders and that borders can shift and change, but it's still something that people get very, very rooted and attached into. So, number one, I'm pretty sure that's where we're headed. Um, Number two, it's just like the energy of sovereignty and autonomy is just what's the word when it's got so much momentum behind it at this point. Like it's a huge boulder rolling down that hill. So there's um like Palestine just is and will be. I'm saying is because I tapped into the point in time where it's already happened. It's free, Palestine free. Like it's just not even a question. Um, I am Jewish on my mom's side by way of Turkey, and my mom's side of the family are Sephardic Jews who went to the Ottoman Empire, fled, their ancestors fled to the Ottoman Empire during the um, Spanish Inquisition from Spain. So they're originally Spanish, fled to the Ottoman Empire, were living in Turkey for several centuries, and then um, some of them came to Canada and the States, and then others, my grandmother's brothers, went on foot, left Turkey because it was becoming hostile to Jews um, in the lead up to World War II, that era. And they went on foot to Palestine. So they were part of that initial settler colonialist project from like very early on. And I still have lots of extended family who live there. And I just did a big energy session on that side of my family. Oh, first I'll back up and I'll say, in my own soul journey, it is like so that's my mom's side, and my dad's side is um wasp. Like uh and so I've felt like soup the energy of the Judeo-Christian um storyline. I've felt like is like really wrapping up in this generation, and I felt it like it's like very connected with my own soul journey in some ways. And so um I recently found out, and also there's a thing with my family and names where it's like I'll be connected to major aspects of major things that happened in history, or major like things to know that those are like represent like storylines that I'm contributing to like dissolving, and I'm like polarities that I'm like integrating. So I just found out that my grandmother's name before she married, which is Strumza, is known to be, it's like, if you're a Strumza, there's, first of all, the Jewish population in the world is very small, but the Sephardic is like tiny. So, um, but if your name is Strumza, it's based on a name of a town in Greece where people started naming themselves after that location. And it's like, oh, if your name is Strumza, that means you're from there originally. So you're related in some way to every Strumza that's from there. And that town, my uncle went to visit, and it was the town during the Holocaust where the that had the highest percentage of Jews wiped out from it. So it was like 90%.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, yeah, I get it. Like we're going into the extreme of that
Mhm.
and of being on the victim side to then also experience being on the extreme end uh,
Hi, Mike.
of the oppressor side because it's my belief that the Jews are a cosmic soul group that came in and they have a real sense of humor, very connected to the Orion Wars and Orion light energy. But I don't know, there's something else going on there. But they have a big sense of humor and they're kind of like a trickster energy, so they like to play both sides. So I believe that the Jews who have incarnated, it is because they wanted to help dissolve this idea that there's separation between the oppressor and the oppressed, that the separation between anybody, right? Like we literally are everyone. So they're like, okay, we're going to do a real fast turnaround. Because Christians, it's like, oh yeah, the Christians were persecuted like a zillion years ago, and then they became the persecutors. And it's like, this is like, we're going to do it within a century, like we're fast, fast, fast for the purpose of like showing. It's like, see, no difference, no difference, no difference. There's literally no separation between myself and a Palestinian or myself and Netanyahu. Like, I'm them, they're me. And yeah, so that's my perspective on that. And this is also where, like, the most you're seeing a lot of my partner walking around in his panties in the background.
It's so awesome. I fucking love him so much. I just want to give him a big whole hug.
He's just providing some much needed comic relief. Remember when I was like, this will be a hoot. I'm just doing my best to talk about this off the cuff. I think I just needed to like feel free express it because I haven't felt the ability to express it publicly so far because I was still so inhibited. I was like, oh God, especially like because I don't I'm not I don't believe in good and evil anymore. I don't believe that they're useful concepts anymore, like fruitful.
I don't either.
Or achieving the world I want to see. So I'm not interested in condemning or punishing anybody. But right, the most fruitful part of one of the most expansive, healing, truly transformative parts. I had to ask him to stop eating because of my misophonia. Of my consciousness expansion process was the part where I connected with all these different parts of myself that had been cast into the villain role or aspects of myself that I like condemned and judged. And I connected with I went into the extremes of like lifetimes where I was like a psychopath. I've talked about this before, but like super like into like cruelty and whatever. going to eat in the bedroom.
So funny.
uh, and I just sat with him in my heart, and I was like, um, just in the knowing of like the most meta, zoomed out, unconditionally loving, conscious awareness perspective where everything is like neutral and inherently innocent and inherently lovable. And I always talk about that as like, also, I call it compassionate neutrality or cosmic neutrality perspective, because it's like we are, before we were human, we were all types of things, but we were also the consciousness, the giant vast consciousness that we're all a part of expressing itself was like the planets and the stardust and all of those things. And so those things that brought things into creation, um, like a star exploding and like creating all this life, or things that caused massive, massive destruction, um, like a star exploding or a black hole or all of that stuff. We don't have judgment for that, but that's literally that same consciousness just expressing creative and destructive tendencies, in that form, is the exact same stuff that works through us as human beings, and expresses itself in different ways, including violence and all sorts of things, and oppression and cruelty and the urge to like dominate and stuff. And so it was so healing. I would literally sit with those parts of myself, or sometimes with other figures. Like I did a whole journey with where my Jewish ancestors, in the form of, they show up as galactic lions a lot. But I did a whole journey with Jeffrey Epstein's soul after he died, and he was just like, yeah, he was like, so I was out in the stars with my Jewish ancestors and him, and he was just this very old, tired lion, and he was just taking a nap. He was so exhausted from the burden his soul had to like carry in this lifetime of like playing such an extreme villain role. And he was just lying there, and all these little lion cubs were just like jumping all over him, because he was like a very safe presence to be around in that, you know, moment. And these were so unimaginably transformative for me, and like opened my heart to such a degree, and just in terms of like forgiving parts of myself, but also just seeing the world through completely different eyes. It was like so much more compassion for every single human. um so that's the lens that I view what's happening currently through. um and uh I'm always beaming out my energy to um, align myself with the most, like the gentlest version of what we can possibly experience. And I know it right now, it's like really not gentle, but always aligning my energies with that, to get ourselves to get myself onto the timeline where it's like we're really seeing ourselves in each other, and seeing each other as just another part of ourselves, and just like only wanting to share love and support and collaboration. So I hadn't done one of those exercises in a long time, but I did it with my Jewish side of the family. I got them all gathered in and energetically, and was bringing energies in, and I was like doing stuff to like, it was basically like, I didn't go in completely. Normally I go in to a situation, um, normally I go in, people have asked me to come in and deal with something that they want resolved. And so it's like, okay, well, what needs to happen for this to be resolved? But this one, I did have my own agenda, and my agenda was a little bit like, hey guys, it's time to kind of face this part of yourself that's like trying to hang on to the victim and a bit resistant to really seeing that you're playing the villain role right now. And so I was there with that in mind, and then I was like, that's not really, that's me trying to be too, projecting too much of my own shit onto this. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, oh, I'm supposed to do the thing that I always do, which is just connect with that part that's like the most scared and reactive and defensive and like right now and like unwilling to budge, and just be like, yeah, I get it, like I get it, give him a hug. So I just did that at the end, and that's when I felt the emotional transformation of myself that usually signifies it's like, okay, we did something in this healing. So it's just like each one I was like, give it a hug, and I was like, I get it. And I do get it. I mean, like I very much 100% get it. So yeah, that was like a big one for this week. But doing those types of exercises are just, I can't recommend them enough. They are so, although if fall is a time for resting and chilling, and not doing like a lot of heavy internal work. And for me also, I will say this felt more like that. This was less about me and felt more like another thing that I was supposed to do that was not, it wasn't my own work I was doing on myself anymore. So I'm not necessarily recommending anybody get into that right now, because now you just got to rest and gather as much rest as relaxation as you can. But at some point, if you feel called to do that experiment, if you haven't already, it's amazing. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say was, I was just like, because that's the thing is like, what is genocide other than the most, at the, again, from that zoomed out perspective, the most obvious metaphor desperately trying to show us that you can't eradicate it, you can't, it's not going to work if you try to eradicate the parts of humanity that you don't like, no matter, and the parts of your own humanity that you don't like, and the traits that you don't like. They just keep coming back and coming back. And so sitting with them, accepting them, but not only accepting them, feeling that heart connection of like true compassion and connectedness is like the key to moving into that unity consciousness thing, where it's like, okay, we're no longer separate. We can evolve, which paradoxically, non-paradoxically, just multiple things are true. Then as we evolve as a species, those traits that we're so bent on eradicating are, some of those traits are naturally going to shift in how we express them, and we're going to have a lot more conscious control. They're not like those traits that of like hatred or judgment or acting out of fear or greed or the urge to control and dominate, all that stuff, those destructive things, they will naturally shift as we allow ourselves to change and evolve, to the point where we won't experience them in the same way again. But it's not through this path of trying to tell them how evil and bad and wrong they are, and just kill it with fire, you know? Like, which isn't to say when something's ready to die, you can't kill it with fire, but on the path that we're on, we're just playing out a story here that feels very obvious at this point, and it's the story of moving towards unity consciousness and like moving beyond duality and moving beyond seeing each other as separate and the concept of having enemies. So we're playing that game. So yeah, you can be like, fuck that, I'm playing my own game and I'm still gonna kill it with fire and that's fun. Whatever, sure. But it just we're playing a very obvious game right now. So like we're just going in that direction. And it's really nice. It's such a nice direction. Like, why not? It's fun, you know? It feels great. It's gonna feel so incredible um, when we're enjoying the fruits of it, and our nervous systems are gonna feel so amazing. And it's gonna be fun and exciting in new and different ways that we can't even predict. Like this story, like we're already tired. We're tired of the movies that are playing the same story again and again. We're tired. We're bored. It's all just sequels. We're tired of the story that's behind the movies. We're ready for something new and different. And we're also scared, and we're scared of losing that thing that we're, it's full of drama and this type of drama. And but we're going to create a different type of drama. It's going to be really cool. Oh my God, that's wow. Anyway, thanks for bearing with me if you did.
That was awesome. Oh my gosh. I don't even like everything you said. I'm just like, no notes, no notes. I totally am on board. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you got to talk about that one finally.
Whew. Yeah, I'm kind of pooped now.
I was gonna say, you ready? You want to call it a
I
day?
just feel like I need something light to like
Okay, well, like,
button the episode, not just okay. So we've been just having incredible, I think I talked about this before, but having incredible street finds. People have been curbing, putting things on the curb that are just amazing. We're finding all these things for our apartment, including plants. But what's been especially fun is when we find something and then I'm like, I'm not sure how we're going to use that. And then we find the other component that goes in it afterwards.
whoa.
So it happened where I found this like tureen, like ceramic tureen dish that didn't have a lid. I guess it's something that happened to the lid. So that's why they put it on the curb, but it was very pretty. It's like an antique. I was like, that's pretty. And I brought it home. I'm like, I have no idea what to do with this. And then Mike was like, it would make a great succulent like garden thing. And I was like, oh my God. And we've never been plant people, but suddenly we have a couple of, and it's just like, it's just proliferating. We brought in one plant and then another. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to get some succulents at some point. And I was just like, all right. And then walking home a couple of weeks ago, free plants people had put out all these tiny little succulents.
Oh,
it was like
so
the exact
cool.
what I needed. So I put them in the thing. They worked perfectly. They're so cute.
Oh my God.
Then I had also found um, a wicker basket stand for like a big potted plant. And that's just been hanging out. And I was like, oh, maybe I want to get like a kind of like an indoor tree or something like that for it. Again, really not thinking that that was going to suddenly pop up. Just yesterday, walking home from the park, and I see this people have just, it's like a house that just got sold. And so I guess the plants were just, there's these two big ferns. And I was like, that's perfect. And I'll show it. But it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I got it home how huge it is. But like, man, does it
I gotcha.
transform
Wow.
this corner? It's like so cool. And then there's the little succulent garden.
The little succulent garden.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know,
Beautiful.
very magical.
So beautiful.
Not hilarious, but very magical.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I have something. Yeah, we got Tim Curry hanging out.
yeah, you had something. That's great. Please.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
talked so much.
No, you're good. I was just another little magic. I was struggling a little bit, but it was still magical because I'm not a kitchen person. I just get, but I had all these tomatoes from my garden and I just froze them because they kept coming in like one or two or whatever at a time. And I kept thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get enough tomatoes so I can make like tomato sauce. My friend has a recipe and she was gonna help me and whatever. And it just kept coming in ones and twos. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just freezing all of them. I don't know what to do with them. And so I finally made tomato soup last night.
Oh, that's when you texted about you're like, this tomato
Yeah.
soup. I was like, interesting. What tomato soup?
Yeah,
Ah,
black tomato soup. So I made two batches and one of them tastes pretty good, I think. But the other one, I'm like, ooh, I don't know what to. So anyway, tonight I have no energy after today, so I'm not gonna do it today, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Soup is always better after it sits overnight anyway. So I was gonna let it go and just test it out tonight to see if um I could tell what needed to be fixed. But it was really cool. I used the onions from my garden and the tomatoes from my garden, and I was like making some soup.
that's incredible.
I felt pretty awesome. And I have little freezer bags so I can put them, it's like easier just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or whatever. I've never used a freezer bag, but I'm like, okay, I guess that's what people do. That's what Lee was telling me to do. So I'm like, all right. So anyway, I'm gonna get some, probably tomorrow will be like a kitchen day. Although tomorrow we are also butchering the second deer that Lee got. So a lot of meat
Oh,
cutting tomorrow, but that's in the morning, and then I'll come back over here and do my cooking.
soup it up. That's awesome. Kitchen
Soup
witch
it up.
stuff.
Yeah. I was playing my little mothership playlist and just kind of jamming. So
I love that.
it was cool. It was a lot of seeds. The straining of the seeds, I didn't get them all, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I kept like
yeah,
straining this. I was like, nope, I'm done.
yeah.
So,
This the
anyway,
steps that are a step too far. It's like, no, we're not doing it that way.
there's got to be a better way, but
There's
like
got to be a better way.
I don't have the infomercial, gadgets that I need to get all the tomatoes out. So, but yeah. Kitchen Witch on Halloween.
Oh, Halloween, yes.
Mhm.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Um,
The Dead. I feel like I get different information throughout the years. Like, I didn't know what Day of the Dead was for a very long time, like, just growing up or whatever. And then I've learned, I was like, ooh, and that's obvious. It feels very tied into Halloween because the veil is so thin, obviously. But then I came across a post where someone was talking about how I can't remember something about how these 3 days, like October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd, are the 3 days. And it's always a 3 day thing. Like it's just always. And that's supposedly when Atlantis fell or something, like during this time. So it's like mourning of the dead and stuff like that. And I don't know, whatever. I haven't quite gotten into the
oh,
stuff, but
holy shit.
yeah,
Is that ever interesting?
right. So
Okay.
and I don't know what the basis for that, what like I need to read the art, it was a Substack writing from somebody I follow, and I was like, oh, and it was based off of something, a video I think that she had watched by the Dark Journalist. I don't know if anybody knows who the Dark Journalist is. He's a very conspiracy theory. He's got some pretty good, I don't watch him all the time because a lot of it I'm just like, oh my God, he's a little whatever, but he does a lot of good reporting too. And so I think his information can be fairly well trusted because a lot of people, like I said, I don't really watch him that much, but he seems to have some pretty good intel on stuff, at least sometimes. So,
Well,
um,
do you know any of the vibes of Drag Race?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I'll send you. It says I did when I got dressed up as the Trolloc
Mhm.
for Halloween as my inner monster. I did a very silly little video where it was like if my inner monster went on Drag Race. But
Oh,
I'm very proud of the production value because I
amazing.
was able I was basically doing the runway walk where they like describe what their outfit is giving and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I was able to get the music, and then I was able like after I recorded like me describing it, um, you can do voice filters now, and I found like the perfect filter for the voice.
Amazing.
It's like a total alter ego character. Anyway, I'll send you that.
Hell yeah. I
I'll
want to
send you
see.
that link.
Yeah. That needs on social media. I haven't really been on much because it has not been on my,
Yeah, that's fine. Don't need
no,
to.
no, but I always feel bad when, not feel bad, but I like my friends' content. Like I want to see it, and I'm like, well, so yeah, I'll watch it. You send me the link.
I was like, I was gonna give you a buck. So I was like, I don't even know if that's gonna like hit any notes of funniness to you whatsoever because you're not like
I'm
watching all
sure.
the drag race like I am. But
uh,
yeah, that was a silly one.
Good for you. No, we need more silliness, that is for sure.
Yeah, it was. I was like truly me in my
Mm,
element is doing a silly parody of something.
good for you.
Okay. Well, that's this episode.
I just drop the bits and bobs and oh yeah, the gems.
I don't want
Those are
to.
great.
Okay, I keep having this urge. I'm just going to say it like I don't want to appear callous by talking about it at this remove or like callous of like what people are experiencing or the horrors or anything like that. This is just like this is the lens and the perspective that was super helpful for getting me out of the the previous lens and perspective which felt paralyzing and hopeless and like nothing. I couldn't do anything. There was no power. There was, that energy. So it was to shift that. So that's why I'm sharing that perspective,
No,
particular perspective.
that was really helpful. I really liked it. So didn't sound callous to me, but I got you.
Thank you. All right. Well, happy Halloween. Happy remembrance of the fall of Atlantis. I was almost did I was trying to do like what would be like I think I wanted to do pound on my chest and like do like a peace sign off my forehead, but I pounded on my forehead and then my arm started to go up and I was like, no, no, no.
Not well.
Maybe not that.
I
After
love
this
you.
episode. And on that note,
Timmy Curry says
oh,
goodbye. Bye, Tim Curry.
bye, Tim Curry. You are literally the cutest. Okay. Bye bye, space kitties.
See you.
See you next time.